The film begins with a young woman named Claire signing herself up as a test subject for a company called Blackwood Pharmaceuticals. Blackwood is a health-oriented corporation, constantly innovating and developing new drugs every year. Their products range from vitamins, allergy medicines, diet pills, and much more. Once a new drug is created, Blackwood opens volunteer programs for human trials. These volunteers are promised very high pay, but the risk is equally high. Participants are given experimental drugs, and their bodies are constantly monitored to check for any possible side effects. For people facing financial struggles like Claire, this job seems like an opportunity they can't refuse, especially since it doesn't require any special skills. Claire has lived alone for a long time, working hard just to survive. Although she still has a mother, their relationship is broken. Her mother never treated her well and, due to past issues, is now living in a psychiatric hospital. Hoping to secure a better life, Claire takes the risk of becoming one of Blackwood's test subjects. At the research bunker, Claire meets 6 other volunteers: Allison, Vanessa, Amir, Ray, Marcus, and Paul.
You'll be closely monitored for any irregular...
No, you're joking, right?
It's not fair, like. I'm sorry, but...
No Wi-Fi, no reception.
Ins at 25 milligrams?
They are greeted by Dr. Ellen, who will supervise the trial. Ellen explains that they will be isolated inside the bunker for 5 days. During this period, the volunteers will be given the experimental drug in increasing doses each day. Their physical conditions will be examined daily, and they are strictly prohibited from leaving the bunker or contacting the outside world.
This is why I keep saying we need a union. No reception. It's bullshit.
Afraid not. No. All participants are confined to this...
The trial begins with everyone taking the first dose of the new drug, followed by dinner and medical checkups.
Now, take a deep breath.
On the very first day, Claire already feels restless and exhausted. She heads to her room for a break, but Allison approaches her to chat. Claire, not in the mood for conversation, asks her to keep quiet.
Claire, you're sleeping.
It's Chinese for please be quiet.
Want to see a photo of my cat?
Suddenly, Claire feels nauseous and rushes to the bathroom, only to find Amir there, who is also feeling sick from the drug. The two exchange a few words, and Amir reveals something unsettling. Neither the volunteers nor Dr. Ellen actually know what drug is being tested. Only Blackwood's executives have that information. Ellen's role is limited to monitoring the trial. Amir knows this because he is a medical student who initially applied for an internship at Blackwood, but due to a shortage of volunteers, he was instead assigned to participate in the trial himself.
Day, huh? Seems like I'm the only one. Now I'm kind of wondering what I got myself into.
As time passes, night falls, but Claire cannot fall asleep. Strangely, none of the other volunteers can either.
I can't even describe it.
I couldn't sleep.
Yeah, we know.
They suspect this is a side effect of the drug. Hours stretch into 30 sleepless hours. To pass the time, they play games and exercise, while Claire and Allison play chess. When it's time for the next dose, Dr. Ellen announces a change in protocol. The volunteers are forbidden to sleep. The demand shocks everyone since sleep is essential for human survival. Amir tries to ask why, but Ellen dismisses his question, insisting they follow orders. The next day, the volunteers notice the drug dosage is higher than what was originally agreed upon. Fear and unease begin to spread among them. Before anyone can refuse, Ellen returns and instructs them to take the pills. To motivate them, she reveals an added incentive. If they endure until the end of the trial, each will receive an extra 30,000 euros. The promise of more money excites the group, and most of them eagerly continue. But not Claire and Amir. Both are deeply suspicious. Why would the company suddenly offer such a huge bonus? Claire is convinced there must be a hidden reason behind it all. The volunteers, thrilled by the promise of a huge payout, begin to celebrate with a small party. But in the middle of the celebration, they suddenly feel an overwhelming wave of drowsiness. Alarmed, they immediately report this to Dr. Ellen, hoping for answers. After examining the situation, Ellen quickly sends a report to Blackwood's executives, urging them to halt the experiment. Medical tests show alarming results. The drug is causing severe damage to the nervous and immune systems. The inability to sleep for days has triggered brain inflammation, and if the trial continues, the volunteers' lives will be in grave danger. Unfortunately, Blackwood's higher-ups refuse to stop the experiment. Ellen, being only a subordinate, has little power to defy their orders. Meanwhile, Claire, Allison, Ray, Paul, Marcus, and Vanessa sit together, reflecting on their grim reality. They are unbearably sleepy, yet desperate enough to endure it for the money. During their conversation, Claire accidentally says something that deeply hurts Allison's feelings. Saddened, Allison chooses to isolate herself. Realizing her mistake, Claire begins to feel guilty and goes to check on her. She finds Allison slumped, seemingly asleep. Claire tries to wake her, but something horrifying happens. Blood begins pouring from Allison's nose, eyes, ears, and mouth. Her body convulses violently before collapsing lifelessly. Allison is dead. The others are thrown into panic, and Ellen also witnesses the gruesome scene. Suddenly, alarms blare throughout the bunker, signaling an emergency lockdown. Everyone rushes to the exit, including Ellen. But as the automatic doors begin to close, Ellen tries to force her way through, only to be crushed and fatally impaled by the heavy mechanism. Ray desperately tries to help, but it's too late. Ellen is dead. Just then, Amir arrives with dire news. He explains that none of them can be allowed to fall asleep. If they do, their brains will shut down instantly, just like Allison's. The drug's side effect forces their bodies into prolonged wakefulness, causing brain inflammation and severe neural damage. A brain that works non-stop eventually overheats and forces itself to shut down, leading to sudden death. Sleep could strike them at any moment, without warning.
No! Stay awake. If you fall asleep, you'll die. What? Are you telling us we're gonna die? No!
To stay awake, Amir distributes small packets of salt, 5 each, instructing everyone to inhale the salt whenever they feel like they can't fight off the drowsiness.
I found some smelling salts. Should be enough for... It's an emergency, okay?
He also explains why the bunker is locked. Something dangerous has been triggered inside. However, the system will automatically reopen the bunker doors in 24 hours. All they have to do is survive without sleeping until then. As time drags on, Amir desperately uses all his medical knowledge to find a way to keep them alive, while the others struggle to stay awake.
What's happening here? When this is all over, people need to be...
Ray quickly runs out of salt, making it even harder for him to resist the exhaustion.
You sorts, I know you do, man. Hey, just give me...
Believe in God.
What?
I said.
Claire begins to hallucinate and nearly falls asleep, but Marcus manages to snap her out of it just in time. Needing to stay alert, Marcus heads to the bathroom to wash his face. There he begins hearing strange knocking sounds. Following the noise, he finds himself drawn to the bunker's door. To his shock, the door slowly begins to open. Without hesitation, Marcus steps through. But it isn't real, it's only a hallucination. In reality, Marcus has unknowingly fallen asleep. Moments later, he dies, just like Allison. The deaths of her 2 friends leave Claire on the brink of despair. The relentless drowsiness makes it almost impossible for her to stay awake. In desperation, she burns her own hand on the stove just to keep herself conscious.
We've lost 2 already. Any one of us could...
But soon, Claire realizes something crucial. They cannot simply wait out the remaining 24 hours. Doing nothing won't guarantee their survival. She urges the others to work together and search for another way out. Amir warns them that the only exit is the main bunker door, but they insist on trying. Claire proposes breaking through the wall, but their attempt fails. The wall conceals another layer of reinforced steel, impossible to breach.
I think this is it. I'm almost through. What? No. The bomb shelter job is it's the same as it.
Ray, nearly at his breaking point, considers taking amphetamines to stave off sleep. But Claire stops him, reminding him that Amir had already warned them. Stimulants will only worsen their condition. Out of options, Claire approaches Amir, desperate for a solution. Suddenly, Amir apologizes. He admits that the bunker's lockdown was his fault. Earlier, Amir had secretly broken into Ellen's office to access their medical results. From the beginning, he suspected something was wrong with the drug's side effects. What he discovered confirmed his fears. Brain scans showed severe inflammation caused by the drug. Amir tried to copy the files onto a flash drive, but the bunker's advanced security system detected the breach, flagging it as unauthorized activity. As a result, the bunker was locked down for 24 hours. Racked with guilt, Amir confesses he is to blame for their situation and even contemplates ending his own life. But Claire stops him, insisting that he must survive. Among them, only Amir has medical expertise. He is their best hope for finding a way to last longer.
Did you not hear me? It's my...
Our brain's a car, right? So get out and push.
This sparks an idea in Amir. He believes he can create a chemical solution that could prolong their survival. Claire rushes off to gather the others. On the way, she runs into Paul, who warns her not to trust Amir. Suspicion spreads. Ray, Vanessa, and Paul doubt Amir's story. They suspect he might not be a fellow volunteer at all, but an undercover operative for Blackwood. Suddenly, the lights in the bunker shut off, plunging the entire facility into darkness. Claire and Paul search for the circuit breaker, while Claire hallucinates terrifying visions of Allison's ghost.
Finding any fuses. Paul!
Claire.
She manages to shake it off and restore the power. Everyone regroups in one room, but the tension is palpable.
Have you been taking the uppers?
Moments later, Amir joins them, only to be immediately attacked by Ray, who punches him and ties him up. Ray accuses him of being Blackwood's spy. Amir protests his innocence, but no one believes him. Bound and desperate, Amir pleads with them to stay rational. With their brains under extreme stress and sleeplessness warping their thoughts, paranoia is inevitable. But Ray, Vanessa, and Paul insist on pressing Amir for answers. If he doesn't reveal an escape plan, they threaten to torture him. Claire, outraged, defends Amir. She reveals that Amir has a plan to help them survive longer by creating a chemical solution. After some heated debate, they reluctantly agree to let him guide them through the process. But there's a condition. Amir must remain tied up while instructing them on the ingredients and procedure.
It's a methyl iodide solution.
What have we got to lose?
Start adding the iodine. Slowly. So it's at 75 degrees now. What's next?
On the other side of the bunker, Ray and Vanessa secretly plot against Amir. Ray is still convinced Amir is a Blackwood insider. He believes Amir never actually took the experimental drug. To prove it, Ray instructs Vanessa to inject Amir with a sedative. If Amir had indeed taken the drug, the sedative would cause him to die instantly, just like Allison.
We need Amir to fall asleep.
It's a sedative.
I'm too fucking tired.
Once the chemical solution is finally prepared, Claire volunteers to be the first to test it. While she and Paul are busy, Vanessa takes the opportunity to sneak over to Amir with the syringe. But before she can carry out the plan, exhaustion overwhelms her. Vanessa collapses into sleep. Claire begs Paul to inject the solution into Vanessa to save her life, but it's too late. Vanessa is gone. In the chaos, the vial of the chemical solution shatters, undoing all of their work. Devastated, Claire resigns herself to the possibility of death. In despair, she begins recording a final video message, her last words in case she doesn't make it out alive.
My name's Claire Brady. I always wondered if you made it up. How hard it must have been. Why?
But then she discovers something unusual, a thin wall that appears to lead to a hidden room.
Goddamn secret.
Claire rushes to tell the others, and together with Paul, she breaks through. Behind the wall, they find a hidden autopsy chamber, and to their shock, what looks like an elevator. Meanwhile, Amir begins hallucinating visions of Dr. Ellen, who whispers for him to kill the others. Soon after, Ray confronts Amir, intent on killing him. In his delirium, Amir snaps, brutally murdering Ray in self-defense.
Stare with the eyes.
The violence shatters what little sanity he had left, and he descends into madness, setting his sights on killing Claire and Paul next. The two flee, racing toward the elevator chamber. But in a shocking twist, Paul betrays Claire, slamming the door shut and locking her out. He steps inside the metal chamber, believing it to be their way out. But it isn't an elevator at all, it's a cremation chamber. Within seconds, the flames consume Paul's body, reducing him to ashes.
On this phone, it's the only true record.
Back in the corridor, Claire narrowly escapes Amir after a desperate struggle. Suddenly, the main bunker doors unlock. The 24 hours are finally over. Barely conscious, Amir stumbles out first, only to be met by Blackwood's security forces waiting outside. Instead of helping him, they execute him on the spot. Amir had tried to steal medical evidence from the trial, and the company cannot risk him exposing their dark secrets. The security team sweeps the bunker, searching for survivors. Determined not to share Amir's fate, Claire hides inside a body bag, pretending to be dead. Her plan works. The guards load the bag into a van for disposal. Once on the road, Claire climbs out, startling the drivers. The commotion causes the van to crash, throwing Claire unconscious and finally into sleep. 4 months later, the scandal explodes. Law enforcement begins investigating Blackwood Pharmaceuticals for illegal human experimentation. A trial is held to determine responsibility. With Dr. Ellen dead, the executives shift the blame onto her, accusing her of conducting unauthorized drug trials without their knowledge. This fabricated story shields the company from prosecution, allowing them to resume operations. Claire, the sole surviving volunteer, remains in a coma with little chance of recovery. In the final scene, she lies motionless in a hospital bed, until, miraculously, her eyes flutter open. Claire has awakened, and with Blackwood still at large, one thing is certain. She will find a way to seek vengeance for the lives destroyed by their experiments. The story ends.